Let's be honest. You work hard, you sacrifice. You trade your precious, unrecoverable hours for a paycheck that seems to evaporate the moment it hits your account. You live in a state of quiet, constant financial anxiety. You tell yourself that if you could just get that raise, that promotion, that one lucky break, then everything would be okay. Then you could finally relax. Then you could be wealthy. That is the single biggest lie you have ever been told. And it is the lie that keeps 99% of the population trapped in a lifelong cycle of financial struggle. Wealth is not a number in your bank account. It is not the car you drive or the house you own. Wealth is a mindset. It is a framework for thinking. It is an identity you inhabit long before the money ever shows up. The money in your account is a lagging indicator of the thoughts in your head. The reason you are not rich is not because you don't earn enough. It is because you do not think correctly. You are operating with a scarcity mindset, the default programming of the masses. You see money as something to be earned and spent. You see the world as a place of limits, competition, and not enough. You fear risk, you trade your time for dollars, and you secretly believe deep down that wealthy people are just lucky, greedy, or dishonest. This audiobook is the cure for that disease. It is the manual for rewiring your brain, for tearing out the old, bankrupt programming of scarcity and installing the powerful, generative operating system of the wealthy mind. Over the course of this program, we are going to systematically dismantle every limiting belief you have about money, success, and your own potential. We will replace fear with calculation, consumption with creation, and wishful thinking with strategic action. You believe wealth is built by working harder. I am going to show you that it is built by thinking better. You believe you need money to make money. I will prove that you need a wealthy mind to attract and multiply money. The principles we are about to discuss are not secrets. They are openly practiced by every self-made millionaire and billionaire on the planet. But they are ignored by the 99% who would rather complain about their circumstances than take radical responsibility for their own mentality. The fact that you are listening to this means you are different. You are ready to stop being a victim of your financial reality and become the architect of it. This journey is not about get-rich-quick schemes or financial loopholes. It is a fundamental transformation of who you are and how you see the world. It is about learning to think rich, long before you get rich. Because once you possess a truly wealthy mind, the money is no longer a goal. It is an inevitable consequence. The revolution begins now, not in your wallet, but between your ears. Chapter 1: The Poverty Contract, Tearing Up Your Unwritten Agreement with Scarcity. Before you can build a skyscraper of wealth, you must first demolish the shack of poverty that occupies the land. And that shack is not your current bank balance. It is the foundation of beliefs upon which your entire financial life has been built. Most people, without ever realizing it, have signed an unwritten, unconscious agreement with scarcity. I call this the poverty contract. It's a set of terms and conditions you've accepted as truth, handed down to you by your family, your friends, and a society that thrives on financial ignorance. It is the single greatest obstacle standing between you and a life of abundance. Your first and most critical task is to make this contract conscious, read its insidious clauses, and then, with deliberate intent, tear it to shreds. What are the clauses of this contract? The first and most foundational clause is, money is scarce and hard to get. From a young age, you were taught this. Money doesn't grow on trees. We can't afford that. You have to work incredibly hard just to get by. You accepted this as gospel. This belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because you believe money is scarce, you don't look for opportunities, you look for obstacles. You see the world through a lens of not enough. You hoard the little you have, terrified of losing it. The wealthy mind rejects this clause entirely. It replaces it with, money is abundant and it flows to value. The wealthy don't see money as a finite pie that everyone is fighting over. They see it as a current, an energy that is constantly circulating. It is not gotten. It is attracted. It is attracted by solving problems, by creating value, by serving others. The universe will provide you with as much money as you are capable of managing, as long as you are providing commensurate value. The supply is infinite. Your value creation is the variable. The second clause of the poverty contract is, rich people are greedy, lucky, or dishonest. This is a defense mechanism for the ego. If you believe this, it absolves you of the responsibility to become wealthy yourself. You can tell yourself, I'm not rich because I'm a good person. It's a noble-sounding excuse for inaction. This belief creates a deep, subconscious aversion to wealth. You cannot become that which you despise. If you secretly hold contempt for the rich, you will sabotage any opportunity you have to become one of them, because doing so would violate your own moral identity. The wealthy mind understands that wealth is not a moral failing. It is a measure of impact. It sees that, with few exceptions, large-scale, sustainable wealth is created by providing immense value to large numbers of people. It sees wealth not as greed, but as a certificate of appreciation from society for a job well done. It rewrites the clause to, wealth is a reflection of value delivered, and with it, I can have a greater positive impact on the world. The third clause is, it is safer to work for money than to have money work for you. This is the core belief that keeps people trapped in the rat race. Trade your time for a safe paycheck. The idea of taking the money you have and putting it at risk in an investment, in a business, is terrifying. The poverty contract prioritizes the illusion of security over the reality of freedom. The wealthy mind knows that the paycheck is the riskiest proposition of all. It puts you one decision away from unemployment. It has a ceiling. It is taxed at the highest rates. The wealthy mind understands that true security comes from owning assets, from building systems that generate income independent of your time. It knows that having your money work for you is the only path to true financial liberation. It rewrites the clause to, "My time is my most precious resource. I will leverage money to buy back my time, not sell my time for money." So how do you tear up this contract? First, you must write it down. Take out a piece of paper and write down every negative, limiting belief you have about money. I'm not good with money. I'll never be rich. Investing is too complicated. It takes money to make money. Get it all out. Expose the enemy. This is your personal poverty contract. Stare at it. Recognize that these are not truths. These are opinions handed down to you that you have chosen to accept. Now, on another sheet of paper, write out your new contract, your wealthy mind contract. For every negative belief, write a positive, empowering alternative. I am a master of my own financial destiny. Wealth is flowing to me because I create immense value. I am a savvy investor who makes my money work for me. I can start building wealth with what I have right now. Finally, take the first piece of paper, your poverty contract, and physically destroy it. Rip it into 100 tiny pieces. Burn it safely. This is not just a symbolic act. It is a powerful declaration to your subconscious mind that the old agreement is null and void. You are under new management. The terms of your life are no longer dictated by scarcity and fear. You are now operating under the terms of abundance, opportunity, and radical self-responsibility. This is the demolition. This is day one. Without this step, any financial strategy you try to implement will be built on rotten ground. Tear up the contract. Your new life depends on it. Chapter 2. Money as a tool, not a tyrant. Once you've torn up your agreement with scarcity, you must fundamentally redefine your relationship with money itself. To the person with a scarcity mindset, money is a tyrant. It's a cruel master that dictates their choices, limits their freedom, and fills them with constant anxiety. They wake up thinking about it, they work for it all day, and they go to bed worrying about it. Their entire life is a reaction to the presence or absence of money. It owns them. The wealthy mind sees money in a completely different light. Money is not a master. It is not a god to be or a demon to be feared. Money is a tool. It is an inanimate, amoral, infinitely useful tool, no different from a hammer, a shovel, or a computer. It is an instrument of creation and a magnifier of intention. A hammer can be used to build a home for a family, or it can be used to smash a window. The hammer has no morality. The morality lies entirely in the hand that wields it. Money is the same. It will simply magnify who you already are. If you are a generous person, having more money will allow you to be more generous. If you are a creative person, money will provide you with the resources to bring your visions to life. If you are a hateful or greedy person, money will amplify those traits. Most people blame money for the world's problems, but that's like blaming hammers for crime. It's a failure to see that the tool is neutral. The wealthy mind takes radical responsibility for its own intentions and sees money as a powerful ally in fulfilling those intentions. This money as a tool framework changes everything. Let's look at how the two mindsets approach the tool. The scarcity mindset sees money as something to be consumed. When they get a paycheck, their first thought is, "What can I buy?" They see it as food to be eaten. They trade the tool for fleeting experiences, depreciating trinkets, and temporary comfort. They essentially eat their shovel and then wonder why they have to keep digging with their bare hands. The wealthy mind sees money as something to be deployed. When they receive money, their first thought is, "How can I put this tool to work?" They see it as seed to be planted. They understand that every dollar they have is a potential employee, capable of working for them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without ever getting tired. Their primary goal is to acquire more of these dollar employees and send them out into the world to find more dollars. The scarcity mindset uses money to buy liabilities, things that take money out of their pocket. A fancy car with a high monthly payment, the latest smartphone that will be obsolete in a year, a bigger house than they need with higher taxes and maintenance costs. These are not assets, they are chains. They increase your expenses, lock you into a higher stress lifestyle, and make you more dependent on your next paycheck. The wealthy mind uses the tool of money to acquire assets, things that put money into their pocket. A piece of real estate that generates rental income, a stock portfolio that pays dividends, a business system that produces profit. They use money to buy things that make more money. They are building a fortress of financial freedom, while the scarcity mind is digging a deeper hole of financial dependence. To adopt this new perspective, you must start thinking of yourself not as an earner and a spender, but as a capital allocator. You are the CEO of your own personal financial empire, even if that empire currently consists of a few $100s. Your job is to make intelligent decisions about where to allocate your capital to get the best possible return. Sometimes the best return is investing in a business. Sometimes it's investing in the stock market. And often, as we'll discuss later, the highest return comes from investing in yourself. The point is to shift from a passive, consumptive mindset to an active, strategic one. A practical way to begin this shift is to change your language. Stop saying, "I spent money on," and start saying, "I invested money in," or "I allocated capital to." Even if you're just buying groceries, think of it as an investment in your health and energy. This simple linguistic change forces you to think about the purpose and return of every dollar that leaves your possession. Another powerful practice is to personify your money. Literally, think of each dollar as a little soldier. When you are about to buy a liability, like a $5 coffee you don't really need, ask yourself, am I willing to send these 5 little soldiers off to die for a moment of pleasure? Or do I want to send them to a training camp, an investment account, where they can multiply and come back with friends? This may sound silly, but it creates a powerful emotional disconnect from mindless spending. It makes you a general, a strategist, a protector of your growing army. When you see money as a tyrant, you will always be its slave. You will resent it, fear it, and ultimately be controlled by it. When you see money as a tool, you become its master. You respect it, you deploy it with intelligence, and you use it to build a life of your own design. The tool is in your hands. What will you build? Chapter 3. The Myth of the Paycheck. Why your income will never make you rich. There is a pervasive and dangerous myth that forms the very bedrock of the scarcity mindset. It is the belief that a high income equals wealth. The masses are conditioned to chase promotions, climb the corporate ladder, and pursue higher and higher salaries, believing that this is the path to financial freedom. This is a trap. Your income, no matter how high it gets, will never make you rich. It can make you comfortable. It can make you look rich. But it cannot, by itself, make you wealthy. Wealth is not measured by how much money you make. It is measured by how much money you keep and how hard that money works for you. Let me repeat that. Wealth is not about what you earn. It's about what you own. You can earn $1 million a year and still be broke. We see it all the time with professional athletes and celebrities who earn fortunes and end up bankrupt. Why? Because they increase their spending to match or exceed their income. They fall victim to lifestyle inflation. As their paycheck grows, so does the size of their house, the price of their car, and the cost of their vacations. They are trapped on a hedonistic treadmill, running faster and faster just to stay in the same place. They have a high income, but they own nothing. They have zero wealth. The paycheck, even a large one, is a flawed vehicle for building wealth for several reasons. First, it is active income. This means you are trading your time and effort directly for money. If you stop working, due to illness, job loss, or simply a desire to rest, the money stops. This is the definition of financial fragility. You are always just one step away from zero. The wealthy mind understands that the goal is not just to earn money, but to disconnect your income from your time. The goal is to build sources of passive income that flows to you whether you are actively working or not. Second, the paycheck is the most highly taxed form of income. In most countries, income from employment is taxed at a higher rate than income from investments, capital gains, or business profits. This means that for every dollar you earn through a job, a larger percentage is taken by the government before you even see it. The wealthy understand the tax code and structure their affairs to earn money in more tax-efficient ways. They are not cheating. They are simply playing the game by the rules. Rules the 99% are not even aware exist. Third, a paycheck gives you a false sense of security. Having a steady job feels safe, but as we've discussed, it puts your entire financial well-being in the hands of one employer. The wealthy mind knows that true security comes from diversification. Not just diversifying your investments, but diversifying your income streams. Having multiple sources of income, from a business, from real estate, from stocks, from a side hustle, creates a web of financial safety. If one stream dries up, you have others to support you. This is true financial resilience. So what is the alternative? The alternative is to see your paycheck not as the end goal, but as a seed-sowing tool. For most people, a job is the starting point. It is the source of initial capital. The scarcity mindset takes that capital and consumes it. The wealthy mind takes that capital and methodically converts it into income-producing assets. Your primary financial goal should not be to get a raise. Your primary financial goal should be to increase the percentage of your income that you convert into assets each month. This is your savings rate, or more accurately, your investment rate. This is the single most important number in your financial life. A person who earns a 50, 0, Y, lead, large, then, D, like, then, V, lead, less, T, less, 50, 50,000, 50, 25,000 will become wealthy far faster than a person who earns a 200, 0, Y, lead, large, then, D, like, then, V, lead, less, T, less, 10, 200,000, 10, 20,000. The first person's wealth-building engine is more powerful, even though their income is smaller. You must shift your focus from the size of your income to the size of the gap between your income and your expenses. Your wealth is built in that gap. The bigger the gap, the more capital you have to buy assets. And the more assets you buy, the more passive income you generate. Eventually, you will reach a point where your passive income from your assets exceeds your monthly expenses. This is the crossover point. This is financial freedom. This is the definition of being rich. At that point, you no longer need your job. Work becomes a choice, not a necessity. You have successfully escaped the rat race. To do this, you must resist lifestyle inflation at all costs. When you do get a raise, you must pretend it never happened. Take 100% of that new income and direct it straight into your investments. Do not upgrade your car. Do not move to a bigger apartment. This requires discipline. It requires you to care more about your future freedom than you do about impressing others today with material possessions. The 99% are in a race to look rich. You are in a race to actually be rich. These are two completely different games. Stop chasing the paycheck. Start chasing assets. See your job for what it is, a temporary financing vehicle for your wealth-building machine. Use it wisely, use it efficiently, and plan your escape from day one. That is the path of the wealthy mind. Chapter 4: The Value Equation. Stop selling time, start solving problems. The scarcity mindset has one primary way of thinking about making money: trading time for a wage. The hour becomes the fundamental unit of value. I make X dollars per hour. This is the factory worker's model, and it has been ingrained in our culture for generations. It is also a guaranteed path to financial mediocrity. The wealthy mind operates on a completely different principle. It understands that you do not get paid for your time. You get paid for the value you create. This is the most important economic shift you will ever make. Let me say it again. Your time is not what's valuable. The solution you provide is what's valuable. The world does not care how many hours you work. It cares about the results you produce. This is the value equation. Your income is directly proportional to the perceived value of the problem you solve. A janitor who cleans an office provides value. It's a necessary service. But the problem he solves is relatively small in scope and easily replaceable. Therefore, the pay is low. A surgeon who performs a complex heart operation also provides value, but the problem she solves is life or death. The skills required are rare and difficult to acquire. The value delivered is immense. Therefore, the pay is high. They might both work an 8-hour day, but their compensation is wildly different because the value of the problems they solve is different. As long as you are stuck in the time for money trap, your income will always have a hard ceiling. There are only 24 hours in a day. You can't work more. You can't create more time. To increase your income, you must stop thinking about how to put in more hours and start thinking about how to create more value. There are 3 primary levers you can pull to increase your value in the marketplace. The first lever is magnitude. This refers to the size of the problem you solve. Solving a small, inconvenient problem for one person has low value. Solving a massive, expensive, urgent problem for a large company has high value. The wealthy mind is constantly searching for bigger, hairier, more valuable problems to solve. They are not looking for an easy job. They are looking for a hard problem. They know that the difficulty of the problem is a signal of the potential reward. The 99% avoid problems. You must learn to run towards them. The second lever is uniqueness. This refers to how easily you can be replaced. If 1,000 other people can do what you do, your value is low. The laws of supply and demand will drive your wages down. You must cultivate a unique set of skills, a unique perspective, or a unique combination of talents that makes you difficult to replace. This is why lifelong learning is a non-negotiable for the wealthy mind. They are constantly investing in themselves, acquiring new skills and stacking them in unique combinations. Are you a great writer who also understands marketing and data analytics? That combination is rare and therefore highly valuable. You are no longer just a writer. You are a strategic content creator who can drive business results. You have increased your uniqueness and therefore your price. The third lever, and the most powerful of all, is scale. This refers to the number of people you can serve with your solution. A massage therapist can only serve one person at a time. Their income is limited by the hours they can work. Their value is high, but their scale is low. An author who writes a book that helps millions of people solve a problem has immense scale. They did the work once, but the value is delivered over and over again to an almost unlimited number of people without any additional input of their time. This is the secret to disconnecting your income from your time. You must create a solution, a product, a service, a piece of content, a system that can be replicated and distributed at scale. This is how fortunes are made. It's not by working harder, but by creating a system that works for you. So how do you apply this? Start by looking at your current job or business. Stop thinking, what are my tasks? And start asking, what problem do I solve? Who do you solve it for? How valuable is that solution? Then, ask the critical questions. How can I increase the magnitude of the problem I solve? How can I increase my uniqueness and become harder to replace? And most importantly, how can I introduce scale into what I do? Can you turn your expertise into an online course? Can you create a template or a piece of software that automates part of your process? Can you train others to do what you do, creating a business that runs without you? The scarcity mindset waits to be told what to do. The wealthy mind proactively looks for problems, devises solutions, and finds ways to scale them. They are not passive employees. They are active entrepreneurs, even within a larger company. They become so valuable, so irreplaceable, that they can command higher salaries, start their own ventures, or create new income streams. Stop selling your time. It is the most finite, precious resource you have. Instead, become a professional problem solver. Become obsessed with creating value. Find a painful problem, become the best in the world at solving it, and then figure out how to scale your solution. That is the engine of wealth. That is the essence of the wealthy mind. Chapter 5: Befriending Risk. The scarcity mind's fear versus the wealthy mind's calculation. In the landscape of wealth creation, there is a towering mountain range that separates the land of scarcity from the land of abundance. That mountain range is called risk. To the person with a scarcity mindset, risk is a terrifying monster. It represents the possibility of loss, failure, and embarrassment. Their entire financial strategy is built around one single principle: the avoidance of risk. They keep their money in safe savings accounts where it is slowly eaten away by inflation. They stay in safe jobs where their income is capped and their future is controlled by others. They avoid starting a business because what if it fails? They avoid investing in the stock market because what if it crashes? By avoiding all risk, they guarantee themselves a 100% chance of mediocrity. They have chosen a slow, certain financial death over the possibility of a vibrant, wealthy life. The wealthy mind has a completely different relationship with risk. It does not fear risk. It does not avoid risk. It studies risk. It understands risk. It manages risk. It befriends risk. The wealthy know that risk and reward are two sides of the same coin. You cannot have meaningful reward without taking on some level of risk. The goal is not to eliminate risk, but to take calculated, intelligent, and asymmetric risks. What is an asymmetric risk? It is a situation where the potential upside is vastly greater than the potential downside. Let's say you have an opportunity to invest $1,000 in a friend's startup. The downside is clear. You could lose the entire $1,000. That's your maximum loss. But what is the upside? If the startup is successful, that $1,000 could become $10,000, $100,000, or even more. The upside is potentially unlimited. This is an asymmetric risk. The scarcity mind only sees the potential loss of $1,000 and runs away screaming. The wealthy mind analyzes the situation, assesses the probability of success, and if the calculation makes sense, takes the risk, knowing that one big win can erase a dozen small losses. The 99% confuse risk with foolishness. They see someone starting a business and think, "That's so risky." What they don't see is the months of research, the careful financial planning, the testing of the market on a small scale. The successful entrepreneur is not a reckless gambler. They are a scientist testing a hypothesis. They are masters of mitigating downside risk. They ask, "How can I try this in the cheapest, fastest way possible to see if it works?" They are not betting the farm. They are placing a series of small, intelligent bets. The biggest financial risk you can take is taking no risk at all. The safety of a savings account is an illusion. With an average inflation rate of 3%, your money is losing a third of its purchasing power every decade. That's a guaranteed loss. The safety of a job is an illusion. The world is changing at an unprecedented pace. Industries are being disrupted overnight. Your safe job could be rendered obsolete by technology or a shift in the market. The wealthy mind understands that the only true security is adaptability, and adaptability requires a willingness to step into the unknown, to take risks. So how do you start befriending risk? You start small. You build your risk muscle, just like you build your discomfort muscle. You don't start by investing your life savings in a speculative venture. You start by investing a small amount of money, an amount you are fully prepared to lose, in a low-cost index fund. You expose yourself to the natural ups and downs of the market. You learn through experience that volatility is not the same as permanent loss. You learn to control your emotions, to buy when others are fearful and to be cautious when others are greedy. Then you can gradually increase your risk tolerance as your knowledge and your capital grow. You might move on to investing in individual stocks, then real estate, then perhaps angel investing. It is a progressive journey of education and experience. A crucial part of managing risk is education. The scarcity mind says, investing is risky. The wealthy mind says, investing without knowledge is risky. The greatest risk mitigator is your own financial intelligence. The more you learn about a particular asset class, the less risky it becomes. To the uninformed, buying a rental property seems incredibly risky. What if you can't find tenants? What if they destroy the place? To the educated real estate investor, these are not risks. They are manageable problems. They have systems for screening tenants, clauses in their leases to protect them, and insurance to cover damages. Their knowledge has transformed a perceived risk into a calculated business operation. Stop seeing risk as a threat to be avoided and start seeing it as an opportunity to be managed. Your tolerance for calculated risk is directly proportional to your potential for wealth. The cage of financial mediocrity is padded with the illusion of safety. To be free, you must be willing to step outside, to face the uncertainty, and to make intelligent, calculated bets on yourself and your future. Befriend risk, and it will make you rich. Avoid it, and it will guarantee you remain poor. Chapter 6: The Architect of Assets, Your New Obsession. If there is one single concept that separates the wealthy from everyone else, it is this: the wealthy focus on acquiring assets. The poor and middle class focus on acquiring liabilities they think are assets. Mastering this distinction is the key that unlocks the door to financial freedom. You must become a relentless, obsessive, passionate architect of your own asset column. So, what is the simple, powerful definition? An asset is anything that puts money in your pocket. A liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. That's it. It's that simple. The scarcity mind is programmed to accumulate liabilities. The biggest one is often their primary residence. They buy the biggest house they can afford, according to the bank. But that house is a liability. It has a mortgage payment, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, and utilities. It takes money out of their pocket every single month. It is a financial black hole. They might argue, but it's an investment. It appreciates in value, maybe. But appreciation is a hope, not a strategy. Cash flow is a reality. The wealthy mind might also own a beautiful home, but they ensure they have first acquired enough income-producing assets to pay for it. Their assets buy their liabilities. That is a critical sequence. Other liabilities that the 99% accumulate include cars bought on credit, boats, expensive electronics, and credit card debt used for vacations and consumer goods. Their life becomes a constant struggle to earn enough active income to pay for the ever-growing army of liabilities that are bleeding them dry. The wealthy mind, on the other hand, has one single financial focus: use their active income to buy assets. What are these assets? They fall into several major categories. The first is businesses. A business you own that generates profit without your daily, hands-on involvement is a powerful asset. This could be a laundromat, an e-commerce store with automated fulfillment, or a company with a management team in place. The system is the asset. The second category is real estate, not the house you live in, but investment properties. A rental apartment, a commercial building, a portfolio of single-family homes. Each month, tenants pay down your mortgage and put cash in your pocket. This is a classic, time-tested asset class. The third category is paper assets. This includes stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. A share of stock is not just a ticker symbol on a screen. It is a tiny piece of ownership in a real, profitable business. When you own a stock that pays a dividend, you are literally getting a share of that company's profits mailed to you. Your money is working in the global economy, generating more money for you while you sleep. The fourth category is intellectual property. A book, a song, a patent, an online course. You create it once, and it can generate royalties or sales for years, even decades. It is a machine that turns your knowledge into passive income. Your new life's mission, your new obsession, is to make your asset column as large and powerful as possible. Every financial decision you make should be run through a simple filter. Will this purchase add to my asset column or my liability column? If it's not buying you an asset, you should think long and hard about whether you truly need it. This requires a profound shift in your desires. Society trains you to want the trappings of wealth, the fancy car, the designer clothes. You must retrain yourself to want the source of wealth, the assets. You must get more excited about buying a dividend-paying stock than you do about buying a new pair of shoes. You must find more joy in acquiring a cash-flowing rental property than you do in leasing a luxury car. This is the inner game of wealth. It's about changing your dopamine triggers from consumption to ownership. How do you start? You start today with whatever you have. Open a brokerage account. You can do it online in 15 minutes. Set up an automatic transfer, even if it's just $50 a month, into a low-cost index fund. You have just purchased your first asset. You are now officially an owner. You are in the game. Then you get aggressive. Audit your life. Where is your money going? Every single liability you can cut is more money you can redirect to your asset column. That daily $5 coffee, that's $1,825 a year. Invested with an average return that becomes tens of thousands of dollars over time. You are not giving up coffee. You are trading a trivial, fleeting pleasure for a piece of your future freedom. Every time you get a raise, a bonus, or any windfall, it does not go to liabilities. It goes directly into the asset column. No exceptions. This is not about deprivation. It is about delayed gratification on a massive scale. You are choosing to live like no one else now so you can live like no one else later. You are building a money machine. At first, it's small. It might only generate a few dollars a month in passive income. Don't be discouraged. This is the beginning. You feed it, you nurture it, you protect it. And with time and consistency, that machine will grow. One day, you will wake up and realize that your assets generated more money yesterday than you earned from your job. On that day, you will be free. Forget the paycheck. Forget the liabilities. Become obsessed. Become a passionate, intelligent, relentless architect of assets. Chapter 7. The CEO of your spending. Frugality versus strategic investment. In the world of personal finance, the word frugality often gets a bad rap. It conjures up images of extreme penny pinching, of reusing tea bags and living a life of joyless deprivation. This is a misunderstanding. The scarcity mind practices this kind of mindless frugality, cutting costs everywhere without a clear purpose, simply hoarding cash out of fear. The wealthy mind, however, approaches spending with a completely different philosophy. It is not about being cheap. It is about being strategic. You must become the ruthless, efficient, forward-thinking CEO of your own spending. Your personal finances are a business, and you are its chief executive officer. The goal of any successful CEO is not to slash all costs to zero. The goal is to maximize return on investment, ROI. Every dollar you spend is an investment. It either produces a positive return or a negative one. Your job is to eliminate negative ROI spending and maximize positive ROI spending. The scarcity mindset asks, how can I save money? This leads to decisions like buying the cheapest, lowest quality food, which negatively impacts their health and energy, ultimately costing them more in the long run. The wealthy mind asks, what is the best possible use of this dollar to advance my long-term goals? This is the critical distinction. It's not about spending less, it's about spending better. The CEO of your spending must first conduct a brutal and honest audit of all expenses. You must track every single dollar. You cannot manage what you do not measure. Use an app, a spreadsheet, or a notebook. For 30 days, track everything. This will be an eye-opening and possibly horrifying experience. You will uncover the latte factor, the subscriptions you forgot you had, and the impulse buys that are bleeding your future self dry. Once you have the data, you categorize. Every expense falls into one of three categories. Category 1, negative ROI. This is purely consumptive spending that provides fleeting pleasure and no long-term value. Junk food, fast fashion, overpriced drinks, most entertainment subscriptions. Your job as CEO is to be ruthless here. You must slash this category as close to zero as possible. This is not deprivation. This is cutting the fat. This is stopping the leaks in your financial ship. Every dollar you save here is a dollar you can redeploy to a better use. Category 2, neutral ROI. These are your essential living costs. Housing, utilities, basic transportation, essential groceries. Your goal here is not to eliminate but to optimize. Can you find a smaller apartment in a less expensive area for a few years while you build your asset base? Can you switch to a more efficient car? Can you meal prep to reduce food costs? Every dollar optimized here is another dollar for your investment engine. The CEO is always looking for efficiency. Category 3, positive ROI. This is where the wealthy mind differs dramatically from the scarcity mind. This is strategic spending. This is where you, as CEO, should be looking to spend more money, not less, as long as the ROI is there. What falls into this category? The number one positive ROI investment is always in yourself, your skills, your knowledge, your health. Buying a book that teaches you a high-income skill has an almost infinite ROI. Taking a course on digital marketing, coding, or sales can increase your earning potential by multiples. Investing in a gym membership and healthy food pays dividends in energy, focus, and reduced future medical bills. The scarcity mind sees a $20 book and says, "That's too expensive." The wealthy mind sees a $20 book and asks, "If this book has one idea that makes me $1,000, what is the ROI?" Another area of positive ROI is investing in tools that save you time or make you more effective. This could be software that automates a part of your business, or hiring a virtual assistant to handle administrative tasks, freeing you up to focus on high-value work. The wealthy mind understands that time is more valuable than money, and it will strategically spend money to buy back time. The final area of positive ROI is, of course, acquiring assets. Every dollar you put into your brokerage account, your real estate portfolio, or your business is a strategic investment in your future freedom. The CEO of your spending is not frugal. They are a capital allocator. They are disciplined and strategic. They will ruthlessly cut $1,000 of wasteful spending on liabilities and then turn around and confidently invest $10,000 in an asset or a skill that will generate a return. They are playing a different game. The 99% are trying to save their way to security. You must invest your way to freedom. Take on the role of CEO today. Audit your books. Cut the waste. Optimize the essentials. And then double down on the investments that will build your empire. That is how you turn spending from a source of anxiety into a powerful tool for wealth creation. Chapter 8: The Ultimate Asset: Investing in Your Own Mind. In your relentless pursuit of assets, of stocks, businesses, and real estate, there is one asset that stands above all others. It is the one asset that can never be taken from you, that will never go down in value, and that provides the highest return on investment in the known universe. That asset is your own mind. The knowledge, skills, and mindset you possess are the true source of all your wealth. The money and the assets you accumulate are merely a physical manifestation of what is going on between your ears. The wealthy mind understands this implicitly. The scarcity mind completely ignores it. The person with a scarcity mindset finishes their formal education and believes their learning journey is over. They might read for entertainment, but they rarely engage in deliberate, focused learning designed to increase their value in the marketplace. They spend their evenings consuming passive entertainment, scrolling social media, binge-watching shows, playing video games. They are allowing their greatest asset, their mind, to atrophy. They wonder why their income is stagnant, failing to realize that their skills and knowledge are also stagnant. You get paid for the value you bring, and that value is a direct result of what you know. If you are not actively and consistently increasing what you know, you are actively and consistently decreasing your future earning potential. The wealthy mind treats learning not as a chore, but as a vital, non-negotiable daily practice. They are voracious, obsessive learners. Warren, one of the richest men in the world, famously spends up to 80% of his day reading. Bill Gates reads about 50 books a year. They are not doing this for fun. They are doing it because they know that every new idea, every new perspective, every new piece of information is a tool they can use to make better decisions and identify new opportunities. Your commitment to self-education must be unwavering. You must become a lifelong student of the game you want to win. If you want to be wealthy, you must study wealth. Read biographies of successful entrepreneurs. Read books on investing, marketing, sales, negotiation, and psychology. If you claim you don't have time to read, you are lying to yourself. If you have time to watch TV or scroll through Instagram, you have time to read. The average person watches several hours of television a day. If you were to replace that time with reading, you could get through 1 or 2 books a week. In a year, you would have consumed 50 to 100 books. Do you think a person who has read 100 books on finance and business will make better financial decisions than someone who hasn't? The answer is obvious. The gap in your knowledge will create a gap in your bank account. Beyond reading, you must invest in structured learning. Take online courses. Attend seminars and workshops. Hire a coach or find a mentor. Yes, these things cost money, but remember the CEO mindset. This is not an expense. It is a strategic investment with an astronomical ROI. A $500 course that teaches you a skill that adds $10,000 to your annual income is a 2,000% return in the first year alone. No stock market investment can promise that. The scarcity mind balks at the $500 cost. The wealthy mind jumps at the 2,000% return. You must also invest in your health. Your brain is a physical organ. Its performance is directly tied to the quality of your sleep, your nutrition, and your physical exercise. You cannot have a wealthy mind in a sick body. Investing in a gym membership, healthy food, and a good night's sleep is not a luxury. It is a critical component of your wealth-building strategy. It maximizes the performance of your ultimate asset. Another key investment is in your network. The people you know, the ideas you are exposed to, and the conversations you have are a huge part of your education. Actively seek out people who are smarter and more successful than you are. Join mastermind groups. Go to industry conferences. Offer to buy a successful person lunch and just listen to their story. One conversation, one connection, one idea can change the entire trajectory of your life. The 99% spend their money on depreciating assets like cars and electronics. You must divert that capital to the only appreciating asset that truly matters. You create a self-education budget. Allocate a certain percentage of your income every single month specifically for books, courses, and seminars. This is not optional. This is as important as your investment contributions. In fact, it is what will fuel those contributions. The more you learn, the more you can earn. The more you earn, the more you can invest. It is a powerful upward spiral. Your current knowledge has gotten you exactly where you are today. To get somewhere different, you must become someone different. And that transformation happens one book, one course, one conversation at a time. Your bank account is a reflection of your personal development. If you want your wealth to grow, you must first commit to growing yourself. Chapter 9. The Law of Financial Association. Escaping the echo chamber of broke. There is an invisible force that shapes your financial destiny more powerfully than your education, your intelligence, or even your work ethic. It is the collective mindset of the people you spend the most time with. You are the average of the 5 people you associate with most closely. This is the law of association, and it is a law of nature. Their habits become your habits. Their standards become your standards. And most importantly, their financial beliefs become your financial beliefs. If your 5 closest friends are broke, complain about money constantly, and have a scarcity mindset, it is almost mathematically impossible for you to become wealthy. You are swimming against a powerful social current that will eventually exhaust you and pull you back to shore. This is not because they are bad people. It is because you are living in an echo chamber of broke. In this chamber, limiting beliefs are amplified and repeated until they sound like undeniable truths. The system is rigged. It's impossible to get ahead. Rich people are evil. Let's just enjoy life now, you can't take it with you. In this environment, your ambition is seen as foolish. Your discipline is seen as weird. Your desire to invest and delay gratification is seen as a betrayal of the group's values. When you try to talk about your new financial strategies, you will be met with cynicism, mockery, or fear. They will try to pull you back down to their level, not out of malice, but because your growth threatens their own comfortable narrative of victimhood. The wealthy mind understands that environment is stronger than willpower. It knows that to change your life, you must change your inputs. And the most powerful input is your peer group. You must make a conscious and sometimes painful decision to audit your social circle and deliberately architect a new one. This is not about arrogantly ditching your old friends. It is about strategically adding new associations that align with your new identity. You need to find your wealth echo chamber. You need to surround yourself with people who are playing the game of wealth at a higher level than you are. When you are in a room with people who are more successful than you, your entire perspective shifts. Their normal becomes your new target. Conversations are different. They're not complaining about bills. They're discussing investment opportunities, business strategies, and tax optimization. They're not talking about what they consumed. They're talking about what they created. Being in this environment stretches your mind. It raises your standards. It makes you realize how much bigger the game is than you previously thought. So, where do you find these people? They are everywhere if you know where to look. First, find a mentor. A mentor is someone who has already achieved the success you desire. They can save you years of mistakes by sharing their wisdom. Don't just ask them for their time. The best way to get a mentor is to find a way to add value to their life first. Work for them for free. Bring them a business deal. Solve a problem for them. Show your value, and they will be more willing to invest their time in you. Second, join a mastermind group. A mastermind is a small group of highly motivated individuals who meet regularly to support and challenge each other. This is a formal way to build your new peer group. You will be held accountable for your goals and gain access to the collective intelligence of the group. The synergy created in a mastermind can be explosive for your growth. Third, attend high-level seminars, workshops, and industry conferences. These are places where people who are serious about their personal and financial growth congregate. You are paying to be in a curated room of ambitious individuals. The conversations you have in the hallways can be more valuable than the content presented on stage. Fourth, use the internet strategically. Join online communities and forums dedicated to investing, entrepreneurship, and financial independence. Participate in the conversations. Ask intelligent questions. Share what you're learning. You can connect with brilliant minds from all over the world without ever leaving your home. As you begin to add these new associations, you may find that you naturally spend less time with your old circle. Your interests will diverge. Your conversations will change. This can be difficult, but it is a necessary part of your evolution. You cannot reach a new destination if you insist on traveling with people who are headed in the opposite direction. Be deliberate. Make a list of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they lifting you up or holding you back? Now make a list of 5 people you want to be your new peer group. They could be authors, local business owners, or people you admire online. What steps can you take this week to get closer to them? Can you read their book? Can you email them? Can you attend an event where they'll be speaking? You are the director of your own life's movie. You have the power to cast the characters. Stop letting your social life be a matter of random chance. Become an architect of your associations. Surround yourself with the wealthy, and you will find yourself thinking, acting, and ultimately becoming wealthy yourself. Chapter 10. The Patience Principle: Planting Trees You May Never Sit Under. We have come to the final, and perhaps most difficult, principle of the wealthy mind. In a world that screams for instant gratification, a world of one-click ordering and on-demand everything, the wealthy mind cultivates a superpower that has become exceedingly rare: patience. True, sustainable wealth is not built in a day, a month, or even a year. It is built over a decade. It is the result of consistent, disciplined action repeated over a long period of time. The scarcity mind is a sprinter. It looks for get-rich-quick schemes, gambles on speculative fads, and gets discouraged when it doesn't see immediate, massive results. It wants to harvest the fruit the day after it plants the seed. When the fruit doesn't appear, it gives up, declares the game is rigged, and goes back to its life of quiet desperation. The wealthy mind is a farmer. It understands the laws of nature and of compounding. It knows that you must first till the soil, prepare your mind, plant the seeds, make your investments, water them consistently, add more capital, and protect them from weeds, avoid stupid mistakes. And then you must wait. You must have the patience and the faith to let time work its magic. The most powerful force in the universe, according to Albert, is compound interest. It is the eighth wonder of the world. It is the engine that will do the heavy lifting for you on your journey to wealth. But it has one critical ingredient: time. Let's consider two people. Person A starts investing $500 a month at age 25. Person B thinks that's too boring, waits until they're 35, and starts investing $1,000 a month, twice as much. Assuming a standard market return, by the time they both reach age 65, Person A will have significantly more money despite investing less of their own capital. Why? Because Person A's money had 10 extra years to compound. 10 extra years for the snowball of their wealth to roll down the hill, growing larger and larger. The scarcity mind cannot comprehend this. It can only see the immediate. The wealthy mind sees the decades ahead and acts accordingly. This requires a profound shift in your time horizon. You must stop thinking in terms of weeks and months and start thinking in terms of years and decades. You must, as the ancient Greek proverb says, be willing to plant trees under whose shade you may never sit. This is not just about your retirement. It's about building a legacy. It's about creating generational wealth that will provide for your children and your children's children. It is the ultimate act of long-term thinking. This patience is not passive. It is not about sitting back and doing nothing. It is an active, engaged patience. While you are waiting for your investments to compound, you are actively working on the other principles. You are increasing your skills, creating more value, raising your income, and funneling more and more capital into your wealth-building engine. You are patiently impatient, patient with your long-term results, but impatient with your daily actions. During this long journey, you will face periods of intense doubt. The market will crash. You will see the value of your portfolio drop by 30 or 40%. This is where your patience and your conviction will be tested. The scarcity mind panics. They sell at the bottom, locking in their losses, and swear off investing forever. The wealthy mind sees a crash for what it is, a sale. It's a Black Friday for assets. They get excited. They know that stocks are on a massive discount. And because they have been patiently building their systems, they have cash on hand to deploy, buying up high-quality assets at bargain prices. They know that every crash in history has been followed by a recovery and a new all-time high. Their patience allows them to turn a crisis into an opportunity. To cultivate this patience, you must fall in love with the process, not the outcome. Find joy in tracking your savings rate. Find satisfaction in watching your dividend income tick up, even by a few cents. Celebrate the consistency of your actions, not the daily fluctuations of your net worth. You must automate your success as much as possible. Set up automatic transfers to your investment accounts. This takes the emotion and the need for daily willpower out of the equation. Your wealth will build in the background, whether you're feeling motivated or not. The journey to wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be times when you feel like you're not making progress. There will be times when you see friends buying new cars and taking lavish vacations, and you will be tempted to abandon your path. In these moments, you must remember your why. Why are you doing this? For freedom, for security, for the ability to control your own time and your own destiny, for the power to have a massive positive impact on the world. Your why must be stronger than the pull of instant gratification. Embrace the slowness. Embrace the process. Trust in the power of compounding. Be the farmer, not the sprinter. Plant your trees, nurture them every day, and have the faith to let them grow. Your future self, sitting in the cool shade of the financial freedom you built, will thank you for it. The closing. We have reached the end of our time together, but we are at the very beginning of your transformation. We have dissected the poverty contract, redefined money as a tool, exposed the myth of the paycheck, and learned to architect a life of asset acquisition. We have befriended risk, embraced learning, and committed to the long, patient path of the farmer. But the most powerful idea is the one we started with. Wealth is not a destination you arrive at. It is an identity you assume. You do not get rich. You become rich. You become the kind of person who sees opportunity where others see obstacles. You become the kind of person who creates value instead of just consuming it. You become the kind of person who finds more joy in owning an asset than in buying a liability. This is the real work. The spreadsheets, the investment accounts, the business plans, those are just the tools. The true transformation happens within you. It's the moment you choose a book over Netflix. It's the moment you say no to a wasteful purchase to fund your investment account. It's the moment you feel the fear of risk and take a calculated step forward anyway. Each of these choices is a vote for your new identity. You are no longer the person who is bad with money. You are the CEO of your own financial life. You are no longer a slave to a paycheck. You are the architect of your own freedom. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are the creator of your own economy. The path ahead will not always be easy. The voices of scarcity are loud both in the world and within your own mind. You will be tempted to revert to your old ways, but you now possess the blueprint. You now have the awareness. You can see the matrix of financial ignorance that keeps the masses trapped, and you can consciously choose to unplug from it. The journey starts today with your very next financial decision. Will it be a choice born of the scarcity mind, or a choice aligned with the wealthy mind? Will it be a step toward dependence or a step toward freedom? The choice is yours. The power has always been yours. You just needed to be shown how to use it. Go forward now, not just to build wealth, but to become a wealthy person in mind, in spirit, and in action. The world is waiting for the value that only you can create. Your financial destiny is not written for you. It is written by you. Pick up the pen.